is that right? Can you hear
Hello,
us?
hello. How are you doing?
Yeah, not bad. Yourself? What did you make of the game?
It was an interesting game. I mean, we got lucky with the fixture. If you think about it, they just came back from playing 120 minutes in the Europa League. So we got lucky in the fixture. Can't lie about that. But I think individually we saw a lot of improvements, like Antonio Conte says. Um, I think we saw it wasn't a surprise about the lineup. I mean, it was normally the normal lineup we were going to we were going to make. Um, I thought, me personally, I didn't think Dyer had a great game. I think he had, especially in the first half, he had a couple of mistakes that could have led to a couple of goals. But I think overall it was a great game from everyone. I mean, Bentancur had 94.7% pass accuracy, and that was just incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, I think Sonny obviously is man of the match, but it's close between Bentancur and him.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just reading all the chat. Everyone is absolutely convinced we're going to get top four. I mean, listen.
Can we
still
screenshot that, please, and then
There's
keep
still
it?
a long way to go. I was reading it on my phone as well, but I'm gonna ask you this question. I'll ask it. Do you know? I'm gonna ask it to you now. Josh,
Yeah.
do you think Tottenham will get top four?
He's not as confident as the guys in the chat, is he?
I have to be confident. I have to believe in my team, and I have to say yes. I do think we're going to get top four.
Does your heart
because
agree with your head on top four?
yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
That's all
And
I
I'll
wanted to
explain
hear.
you why.
That's all I wanted to hear.
Tottenham Hotspur, we have been beating Arsenal in the past so many
5 years.
seasons. I mean, we've been higher than them in all the past couple of seasons, and now if we think about the fixtures that they've got compared to what we've got, it's like you guys just discussed. It's not that like that equal. I mean, Arsenal have much more of a difficult fixture list than us. I think like you guys said about about Norwich, that's our last game. Brentford also we got.
Yeah,
I mean,
Burnley.
we
We've
got
got a lot of
three
favourable.
relegation teams to play.
It's
Yeah,
just what Tottenham
three
team turns up.
relegation teams to play.
yeah.
And also Arsenal don't have as much of a depth squad as Tottenham Hotspur have. I mean, yeah,
Would
yeah.
you rather play three relegation teams or play three mid-table teams? I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why I asked the question. Might sound serious. Relegation teams are there because they're playing poor.
Yeah, but you say that, but they are, they're trying to survive. I'd rather play Brighton every day of the week than play someone
Norwich.
not necessarily Norwich, but I'd rather play Brighton over Burnley.
Yeah.
Burnley, it's tough. It's always a low-scoring game.
Because the mid-table teams have got nothing to fight
to play for. They're just playing for pride, really.
They're just playing for pride, but they can play in an open, expansive sort of risk-based football, whereas the relegation teams are like fighting for and that could stunt their risk. They can be very risk-averse. Like they can be more. They play that safe football, trying to nick a goal off a corner or something. So I don't know. I mean, what about you, Josh? Would you rather play mid-table teams or?
I agree. I think playing mid-table would be much more helpful. Not easier. I never say easier because for me the Premier League, even Norwich, is a huge game. I mean, it's not a huge game compared to City, obviously, but it's a big game. Norwich aren't that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the Premier League, everyone can beat anyone, anytime, any day. Maybe if we're talking about Serie A or La Liga, it's a different type of situation. But I think, yes, I agree. I think I'd much rather play a mid-table team in the last couple of games of the season than play lower teams because they've got pride, and that's a lot of pressure on you when you're fighting for pride. You want to show the fans, okay, this is what we are about. Even though we're going down, or even though we have got nothing to do, we're still going to fight for pride.
Does that second goal today, the defending, worry you going into this last 9 games now? Because teams will exploit that. Teams will exploit that against Spurs. They will get men in the box on set piece occasions because the analysis on Spurs the first thing at the top of the list will be set pieces. I mean, our manager's saying it in press conferences. We are crap at set pieces. How much does that worry you now? Because we saw it again today, just the lack of concentration and marking and professionalism at the back on that corner.
Yeah. So I agree. I think a lot of it comes down to the communication because we've seen in the previous matches that the communication between the defenders are not good. We see how Dyer is good at commanding all the defenders to do, but it's not at the same time. And many times it's the wing backs who are leaving their players, and then their players are going and scoring the goals. For instance, today it was Doherty / Sonny. I mean, it was a miscommunication again.
Ben Davis, yep.
Was it Davis?
Yeah, it was Davis at the back. Yeah. It's Davis,
oh,
right?
so Davis again. Defenders miscommunication.
Yeah.
A huge thing that Tottenham have to improve.
Do you think there's going to be one of them ones, Henry, where we just have to score more than the opposition because we just can't fix this? This set piece issue's been around for years.
It has, but then again, it's so have these players.
But do we just work to our strengths now rather than? Don't get me wrong. Obviously, we'd love to fix our weaknesses, but do we just look at the last 8-9 games now and think we've got some of the best attacking players in the league, and it's a case of attack is the best form of defence. If you know what I mean.
100%.
Yeah.
A lot of those teams, Brentford, Burnley, Norwich, Newcastle, Brighton, we will outscore them. We've got more firepower.
Yeah.
We've got Kane and Son, Kudu's playing well, Bentancur, dominating, controlling games.
Yep.
Romero putting in shifts and Dyer. The issue we've got is the same players that make the same individual errors are still going to be there. If Doherty clears that and doesn't let it dribble out, we'd won that game 3-0.
Yeah.
Son hit the post in the first half.
Well, Doherty and Ben
Ham.
Davis both making mistakes in the space of a minute.
Yeah,
and we're
it's
down.
a collection of errors.
Yeah.
West Ham, we knew were dangerous.
Yeah.
I've said to everyone, I was nervous. You don't get me wrong, playing West Ham, but they've got bigger fish to fry. They've got bigger games. The Europa League game is more important than today. That's what's cushioning the blow. If they didn't have the Europa League on Thursday, they'd be absolutely fuming about today. Whereas, their heart's on that. With like you said earlier, there's no team that we're playing between now and the end of the season, apart from Liverpool and Arsenal,
that are above us.
And they're playing for something.
I think West Ham, had they lost on Thursday, the reaction would have been mad because they would have come for it. So we it's good they went through in a way, even though I didn't want them to win. But now I'm looking at it thinking,
the benefit for them was as soon as they got that extra time Thursday, I was like, that's
brilliant.
That's them, because they're knackered. You looked at Rice and Zuma. I mean, they're puffing.
Yeah.
To play 120 minutes, have a day off, then you train Saturday.
Yeah.
Then you do recovery late Saturday night, and then you're back on the field Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, look at our records when we used to play in the Europa League. We played the Europa League last year, and then we scraped a 1-0 win against West Brom. And that was like a Doherty assist.
The thing is, Thursday, Sunday football, without the squad depth of a top 3 team, you're gonna something's gonna give. Something's gonna give. Whether it's the Premier League following result, or whether it's the league competitions, you can't play in the Premier League with the squad size of Tottenham, Arsenal, or West Ham.
Yeah.
And just consistently stay in both competitions. I want to ask you this, Josh. If we finish top 4, have we overachieved?
Massively, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think yes, massively. Because if you think about where we were and how far we've come, I mean, we have.
So if your answer is we've overachieved, that means we're having a very good season now.
If I said to you on the Nuno, well, we weren't even getting shots on target, right? And we literally were. It was painful. Now that's the worst performing Tottenham team I think I've ever seen.
In terms of attack.
We couldn't even get a shot on target.
No, we couldn't.
Like 4, I think it was something.
But we were top of the league.
Yeah, I know. But if I said to you at that point, we're going to be right down to the. Aubameyang just scored for Barcelona in the El Clasico.
1-0 Barcelona, is it? Away to Real Madrid.
If I said to you, under Nuno, and we were struggling, and that was as toxic as a fan base we've had, and don't get me wrong, it's been divided like this. Levy in, Levy out. It's always been like that. It always will be like that.
Yeah.
But that was as toxic as it could get. People hated putting content out there because it was just everyone was against each other. If I said to you then, we're going to bring in the Godfather, right, and we are going to be right up there with Arsenal, I'd even take Europa League. If you said to me at the beginning of the season, would you take Europa League? Snap it up.
I would have taken Europa League at the beginning of the season as well, yep.
And now we are neck and neck
but
with
only
Arsenal.
because we had...
You'd be like,
the only reason I would say that Spurs, at the beginning of the season, when we got Nuno, nobody was excited.
Yeah,
I don't even know if Nuno was excited.
Oh,
Do you
we're
not?
going to make you proud. We're
Well,
going to
of
make you
course not.
proud.
Of course not. Of course not. He wouldn't, because it was everyone knew that he was our sixth choice or something like that. And when you've
It took
got
us 72 days to get him.
yeah, when you got that in the back of your mind, knowing that you've been like, well, you're not what you were not the first choice, you were not the second choice, and you were definitely not the third choice. You know that at the back of your mind, you're like, okay, I need to prove something. But I mean, can I do it at a top level? I mean, I've done it with Wolves, but can I do it at Tottenham? He's always doubting himself,
The
And
thing
I
is,
didn't
you can't bring in a manager who hasn't won anything to then suddenly come in and find this new gear.
The issue we've got is Levy knows we need a trophy. He knows that more than anyone. But he penny pinches a lot and tries to buy players that will suit a system. Now we've got a director of football who a lot of people weren't happy with, and I think we could have potentially had a better January transfer window if we got a playmaker or a wing back. But now you've got a director of football and a manager that are on the same path. They both want success. Now, if we do not give Conte the tools to do this job and the money in the summer, he will walk. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
This manager,
Well, he'll not just walk. He'll be touted by about 3 other clubs across Europe.
he went over to the Serie A, took the title off Inter Milan, dominated Italy for 3 years, then went to Chelsea,
a winner.
dominated the Premier League, then went back to Italy, won Inter Milan's first league title since Jose. He's won trophies wherever he's been. We cannot. Conte will not settle for top 4.
No, he
He'll be
won't.
happy, but we've got to go out. There's 200 million.
He won't settle for a non-winning mentality.
Yeah, if we finish top 4, we get 100 million cash injected straight in from the Champions League. The TV,
Did you get 100 mil?
That's what you get, about 100 million for finishing.
I thought
4th.
you get about 50.
You go through the qualification process. You play, 1 or 2 games against, a couple of.
I think you get about 18 million a win or something like that. I can't remember what it is.
And then when we got to the Champions League final against Liverpool, we got 100 million through competition and then 100 million through TV rights.
Yeah.
That's how we went out and bought Ndombele, Celso, etc., Sessegnon. If we do not go and show, Conte comes out all the time and says, I mean, Josh, from doing content that he wants to be matched with ambition as level as he is. If we don't do that, we're going to go in and Graham Potter will be the next manager of Tottenham.
The thing is, right, so Levy out's been like growing massively over the last couple of years. Post Poch, a lot of fans have got on Levy's back. 1, for the way people think he was treated, Poch, and 2, for the player recruitment, and 3, probably for the lack of spending, right, over those 2 seasons. Now, we've had a full stadium coming onto a year since COVID was lifted, the ban was lifted, lockdown, since football stadiums reopened. We've had a full year of money. We've had concerts. We've had, all the skywalks, merchandise, NFL, all the good stuff. How much did we spend in the January transfer window net? So if we take away
25 million on Benson Core, and then we did 5 million up front with an obligation to buy Kulusevski for 40 million euros.
So what's that? About 65, 70 mil.
We haven't even paid for that. But you've got to remember, in the summer, we've still got to pay 50 million for Romero.
Yep.
So Levy is absolutely banking on us to get top 4.
Yep.
If we don't, not only does it make, he's got to go and spend the money.
If we don't finish top 4, right? Like the thing is, people say Arsenal need top 4, Man United need top. Of course, Man United need top 4. They're one of the biggest football clubs in the world. Arsenal need top 4. They've not had it for 5-6 seasons. We need top 4.
But even if Arsenal don't get top 4, they still spend money.
They will still spend money. They spent it last year, and they want to get back into the top 4, which is why you make the investment, right? With us, it almost feels like we have to get top 4 to make that push financially. I think is what your point is, right? I mean, Josh, where are you on that? Because is this the best chance in the last? How many years have we been at the top 4? 3 years?
4.
4 seasons,
It'll be 4 this year.
Yeah. So we've almost started to turn it around. We're now looking at top 4, and it's so doable. Looking at the fixture list and following today's result. Yeah. I mean, where are you on? Let's say we finish top 4. Are you one of these fans that wants to wait and see what happens, or do you feel like we are going to lose Conte eventually because of the way this club is run?
So I'm making a statement saying that Antonio Conte will not leave.
Even if we don't get top 4.
Even if we don't get top 4, the reason why is because everyone's talking about
Brave.
how much how much he's a winner. Everyone knows, oh, Antonio Conte is a winner. Antonio Conte doesn't like losing. He never loses. Okay, here's a perfect opportunity for you to show us: are you a loser or are you a winner? Okay, you have now an opportunity, the arguably the biggest challenge of your career, to get Spurs to a trophy, win Spurs a trophy. Now, are you going to quit and leave Spurs, and then you will be known as the Antonio Conte who wasn't able to win something at Tottenham Hotspur, or will you be there for a season two? Because we're not that far off from winning trophies. If you think about it, our performances haven't been terrible. It's just I feel like we need a couple more, maybe a couple more, half a season or two, and we're back on track. We're not far away now. If Antonio Conte has said that he's not going to leave. And I don't understand why everyone's bringing it back in, saying, oh, Antonio Conte might leave, Antonio Conte could leave. I understand why, but I feel like us as fans, we should think on the more important stuff and think about how Antonio Conte can improve the squad currently, because I don't think Antonio Conte will leave. I think he will stay. And if he does leave, then he will be known as the Antonio Conte who has not won something with Tottenham Hotspur at Tottenham Hotspur.
Fair enough.
One last question before we 2-0 Barcelona now as well, by the way.
2-0 Barcelona. Who scored?
Aubameyang for a brace.
Aubameyang on a hat-trick.
You know, people said he was finished at Arsenal. Now look at him. Anyway,
Arsenal fans could deal with him now, but yeah.
What do you expect out of Newcastle with Villa? Do you think Newcastle we should win? If we were to win, actually, let me rephrase that question. How many out of the last 9 games do you think we need to win to get top 4? Obviously, 9 would be a dream, but very.
Is that including the North London derby? Yeah.
Yeah, and they haven't even fixtured that in. That is going to be either mid-April or early May.
So we got 9 games, yeah.
Yeah, we've got 9 games. Do you want me to read out the games?
What are 9 threes?
27.
27 points to fight for.
I said we need 21 minimum. We got Newcastle at home, Villa away, Brighton at home, Brentford away, Leicester at home, Liverpool away, right Liverpool off. I tell you now, we never get anything there. Burnley at home, Norwich away, and then Arsenal will be somewhere in there.
Apart from Liverpool, I don't think the fan base is going to be forgiving if we lose any of those. Apart from Liverpool,
yeah, but you got to remember this is Tottenham, and we will go like this.
But then we won't get top 4.
Eventually, you know, we'll end up winning a game like Liverpool and then losing to Leicester. That's
Josh, do you feel there's something good happening here, mate? When you look at the style of football and the attacking stats, the wins, the ratio of the wins by goal margin, the defensive play, the midfield play, obviously the attacking play, do you think there's something good happening at Tottenham that we haven't seen in a long time? Or are you sort of thinking, no, you know, we're pretty much the same team we were like five games ago?
I'm not one to be pessimistic, but pessimist. But I don't think there is much of a change between the last 5 games. I think we are basing it off the opposition. It's not like when we come against Liverpool. We know Liverpool have a style of play. No matter who you are, they will continue playing their style of play. I mean, they're so good, Liverpool. And now Tottenham Hotspur, the way we prepare our match is we prepare it, I think, towards the opponent, and we'll think about what the opponent will do to try and defend what the opponent will do, and then counter on that. I think Tottenham Hotspur are in a stage where they are trying to fight for top 4. I think we are doing. We're not doing too much of a difference between the last 5 games, but I do feel like there is a little slight good thing with the performances. That will be.
I hear you, and I think there's something bubbling, mate. I do. The reason I say that is, okay, stats only tell a certain story, and they tell you a lot, obviously. But I do feel there's many relationships developing in the team, and you're right. The Leeds, the Evertons, the teams we've beaten, Brighton, all of them have been red on the form guide. 4 losses in a row, 5 losses in a row. Leeds, Everton, all of them, right? Burnley. Sorry, not Burnley, Brighton, Everton. we lost to Burnley, if anything. But I do feel like there's certain relationships developing in the team, which I'm looking at. Yeah, combinations. And obviously, listen, any successful team has different levels of relationships throughout the team, whether it's, we've always relied on Kane and Son, and that's kind of been our main relationship that we've relied on. But I feel like Kulu's coming in nicely along with Kane. I really do see something bubbling there. And I also think the Bentacle in the middle of the park, him and Højbjerg have got,
There's a relationship.
Yeah, they've got a good understanding.
Comes back. Who are you kicking out?
What was the question? I don't know.
Who would you take out the team, did you say?
Yeah, if Skip comes back now, who are you taking out? Højbjerg or Bentancur?
I wouldn't personally.
I wouldn't touch it.
If it's not broken, don't fix it. Skip's a fan. I have said this all along. We need, as much as Skip is a good player, for challenging top four, we shouldn't have a player that young starting in a midfield that relies so much on creativity and ball playing.
Exactly.
As good as Skip is, and he'll be a fantastic impact player off the bench, diving in, challenges, this and that, and it's good to have, but,
there's too much responsibility on Højbjerg to create before Bentacle came in. Now, Højbjerg, we saw that today, Højbjerg can create, and he's tried his best to create for this team. Now Bentacle's in, Højbjerg can get back to doing the dirty work without having to necessarily create too much. And we saw Bentacle do that today. And I feel like the best DM partnerships have that ability to say, I attack, you sit back. Or I'm going to take a break for 10 minutes and you push on. Or I want more of the ball because the player that's marking me is not as great. So give me more of the ball. And it's using each other's strengths and weaknesses. And today, Bentacle just bossed it. I don't think West Ham were expecting a Bentacle performance like that. I wasn't. I thought, if anything, Declan Rice and Souček would boss it. Because a lot of people were saying their team, the West Ham team, gets to the Tottenham team more than the Tottenham team gets into the West Ham team.
Yeah.
But today, Rice and Souček, where the hell was Rice, man? Rice pudding. Do you know what I mean? But we got to move on, Josh.
Thanks for coming on, Josh. Really do appreciate that.
Thanks a lot, mate.
All good. Thanks.
Take care.
Thanks so much.
Enjoy
Great
the rest of your
content,
evening.
guys. Great content.
Top man. Cheers, mate.